So you want to scrape Google Maps for free or for very cheap? Well, I think you came to the right video because today I'm gonna show you step by step how to build a scraper that basically scrapes any location you want in Google Maps by any term that you want and extracts, all of the websites, the contact info, the social media channels, and so on and so forth. So basically, this is in my opinion, is quite powerful automation for quite cheap or either for free. Of course, it depends, how much you want to scrape. So that being said, let's jump into my screen. And as I mentioned, or I didn't, I already forgot, but we're going to be building the automation with the make.com. So make.com is a no-code tool, so you won't need any coding knowledge or experience to scrape the Google Maps. And plus, it offers free tier, so it's a Zapier alternative, which is quite cheap. And yeah, so let's log in. I already have an account with make.com. If you don't, so set it up. And I'm just gonna go quickly over the automation. So this is gonna be a 3-step automation. Why is it 3-step automation and why it's, for example, not in one? Well, because we're using Google Sheets, Apify, and Make for this. And if, for example, I would try to run the whole automation in one scenario with Apify, it would likely be that it would time out and we would get an error. So to avoid any errors, what I'm doing is splitting the automation into 3 steps and ensuring that everything runs smoothly. So how it's gonna work, basically you're gonna enter the city name or location, it could be state as well, the search term, and once that's done, you then just select start scraping, and what the automation is gonna do, it's gonna scrape any area you want. So that being said, if you ever want to work with me on any automations or you have any ideas, I'm gonna leave a link in the description. So yeah, send me a message. I'm gonna reach out back to you if you have anything interesting and we can work together. So another thing that we're gonna need is Apify. So I think I'm logged in. I don't think I see that I'm logged in, but let's go to apify.com. And basically go to the apify.com. If you don't have the account, you're gonna have prompt to sign up. I already have a console, so I'm going to the console. But this is a service that we're gonna use for scraping. And as you can see down here at the bottom, basically Apify gives $5 for free every month. So that's how much I can use for scraping. So with this method, I think you could scrape up to, I don't know, probably 500, maybe 1,000 leads. It really depends, on the usage and which city, which region you're trying to scrape. But that's it, this is how automation is gonna work. And why not start building it, I think, So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna create a new folder. So let's say video. So since I'm filming a video, we don't have to write that. Google Maps and save. And it's gonna be here. So let's start with the Google Sheets. So we're gonna use Google Sheets to basically trigger our automation. So I'm gonna name Google Sheets trigger, or whatever you want, you can call it. And I already have a sheet called Google Scraper. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the Google Sheets and I'm gonna select watch changes. So what this means is that we will have to create a webhook that later on we have to add into Google Sheets. So what I do, I click copy address, okay. I go into the Google Sheets, I go into extensions, and there's gonna be make for Google Sheets for me. If you don't have make for Google Sheets, what you're gonna do is go to the add-ons, get add-ons, and here enter make for Google Sheets, and make for Google Sheets. You see I have it installed. So what you do, you just install it and that's pretty much it. Then once you have it, go to Make for Google Sheets, Settings. And over here, what we will need to do is replace this. So you will have it empty. I have it since I already have the automation. Replace the URL and enter the sheet name of which you want to watch the changes. So since I'm gonna be selecting the start scraping procedure in this sheet, I'm basically selecting sheet 1 in here. And then down below, you'll have a button save. So just my face right now covers it. So just select that save button and that's it. Boom. Now we have something that can start an automation. So for example, if I, let's say, enable this scenario, save it, and then let's say, go back and press start scraping, boom. So we got the value start scraping. So this is going to be how we're going to trigger our whole scraping automation. So just do the same, enter city name, search term, action, and a drop down. That's pretty much it. Also, if you ever notice me looking to the side, I'm just, you know, yeah, watching how I did it before so it would go smoother. What do I want to do? I want to delete the module, and I'm adding a router just for myself. It's not going to consume any operations, but I just like to add router before I add filters. So I'm going to add a filter. I didn't notice if I said it clearly, but set up a filter, and that means that if any other changes we do in Google Sheets, it's not going to trigger the automation accidentally. So start scraping, and then condition is that we want the value to be the value that we changed here to be exactly start scraping. So that means the automation is going to be triggered only then. Then for the automation, we will need these two values to basically pass it to the Apify. And I'm going to show you how to set up in Apify everything as well. So now we need a get cell module. And over here, we're going to search it by path. So let's say I have a folder make with my automations. I'm going to select the folder Google Maps Scraper since I already have it as well. And I'm going to select the sheet Google Scraper. So here we go. Yes, sheet name, sheet 1, since we're going to start in the sheet 1. And cell, so for the, let's say for the city name, we need the column A, since we have the city name in column A. And for row, we're going to select row start. So now let's rename it to just be clear. Get city name. Boom, we have it. And then let's say also we need to get the term. So get cell. Or you know what? Instead of doing the same thing, I'm just gonna clone it. And I'm gonna write just B, and it's gonna grab the second basically column, so the search term. So let's rename it get search term. Okay, so now let's save it and let's just test it out. Let's say I write, okay, let's select to finished, so it's probably gonna trigger it. Yeah, it triggered it, but you see it didn't pass the filter, so that's what we want. And here let's say Los Angeles and HVAC, and then select start scraping. So it should start running, and let's see what it returns. So it returned Los Angeles and it returned HVAC. So everything works as we expect. Amazing. Now there comes the part of implementing Apify. So once you are in Apify, what you'll need to do is you will need to basically find a Google Maps crawler. So for example, enter just Google Maps and you're gonna be presented with this option. So this is the actor that I use. And as you can see, for example, I already used tried to scrape it for dentists in Thousand Oaks, again in Los Angeles. And I chose the maximum number of results 5. So also for this example, we're going to do 5 just to make it very quick. I enabled the deeper city scrape under the Apify. By the way, once you go into the scraper, it appears under the actors. So this is the same actor and it has everything saved. So again, just the same details. And I basically didn't change anything else. I just added dentist, Thousand Oaks, the limit 5. So in your case, if you want to scrape 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, enter that number. I just, don't want to scrape everything and take this too long because it takes a while it's scraping. But basically, this is pretty much it. Of course, you can, search by Google Maps URL. You can add it here, or you can do whatever you want. But for me, now dentist is enough. And basically what you have to do is, instead of going to manual, I select all the options and I go into JSON. What I do next, I'm gonna copy that JSON. And now I choose Apify in Make, and this is going to start my automation. So just gonna move it a bit here. So actor, so go back. My actor is named Crawler Google Places. I'm gonna select Crawler Google Places, run synchronously, yes. And then input, I'm gonna paste the JSON. Now there are a few things that I need to change. First, the location query. So which area I want to query. So I'm gonna delete and I'm gonna select from the city name, value, and the search string array. So I'm gonna delete the dentist, which is between the quotes, and I'm gonna get the search term, which is HVAC. All right. And we're technically done with the first part of the automation. So I'm not gonna run it now. I'm gonna run it a bit later. But right now, what it does, it's you trigger the automation with any search term you want. Oh, I forgot maybe to save here. Or I did because it works. Yeah, so I can just turn it off. So you start your automation in here, and this starts running the automation, basically the scraping. And now we have to set up another scenario, which is gonna be the second flow, just to avoid timeouts. And you don't want to have timeouts because otherwise it's going to be quite annoying and it's not going to be fully automated because you're going to have to keep coming back. Yeah. So for this one, I'm going to select extract emails, right? Because now, since we already crawled the data in Google Maps, what we're gonna do is now we're gonna get the emails, the Twitters, the Facebooks, the YouTubes, all the social media from those scraped businesses. So first thing, how we're gonna trigger this automation is that we're gonna select watch actor runs, and we're gonna add new webhook, which is gonna be named watch Google Maps scraper. And we're gonna select to watch crawler Google Places. Okay, let's double check crawler Google Places. So yes, so let's save it. Okay, so now this means once that first automation finishes, this is basically watch how it finished, and it's gonna then start scraping the emails and the contact information. So again, I go to the Apify and run actor. Now for this one, we need to get the details, the contacts. So go and search for Google Maps email extractor. So I'm just gonna do it for you as well. Google Maps email, let's say, and I get Google Maps email extractor. Yep, I have it here. And this, I'm gonna run actor Google Maps with contact details because it's the name. Input JSON. So this will require us to input again JSON from here. But what you'll need to do is, again, you don't have to select anything here, but you will have to replace this ID with the ID from watch actors module. So for example, if I go here, I copy the JSON, copy, input JSON, paste, and now I delete the ID here, but I simply go down over here and select default dataset ID. And that's it. That's literally it. So now let's save. And now let's get back through the whole flow, just so it will be clear, how this works. So Google Maps, okay. So first scenario, what it does, it triggers the automations in Google Sheet and runs an actor that actually scrapes the Google Maps data. Then when you run the second, it watches when the Google scraper is done, and then it runs another scraper that goes into each location that we scraped and gets additional detail, which is emails, phone numbers, their social media accounts, and so on. So yeah, we're more than halfway done. And then for the third thing that we need to do is to create the third basically part of this scenario, which is gonna be add scraped data into Google Sheets. And again, now we're gonna watch the second actor run. So watch actor runs, add a webhook, and we're gonna watch the email extractor. So that's how I'm gonna call my webhook, email extractor. And here, Google Maps with contact details. Yeah, Google Maps with contact details. Select it here, save it, and press OK. Now, the last step is get the details of the details basically into the Google Sheet. So I select the get dataset items module. Then I select default dataset ID and I leave it at that. Then let me just go back. Oh yeah. So there's nothing else that I need to change. And the last step that we have is actually adding the data into Google Sheets. So now let's go here, Google Sheets. What I'm looking for add a row. Add a row, okay. And now click on the spreadsheet ID, make. So okay, again, these folders are going to be totally different for you. This is just what is for me, because this is the structure that I have in my Google Drive. So don't worry, just select the according path to your sheet. And now I'm going to select the Google sheet name. So I want crawl data, because in this sheet I'm triggering the automation, and in this one I'm gonna add the details. Oh, so I already have. So let's delete this. Table contains headers, yes. And then search term. So for the search term, I need to add the city, or not the city. No, I don't need to add the city. I need to add the search string. So which one does pass this data? It should be okay. So since I haven't run this, it doesn't pass the variables that I need. Okay. So what we're gonna do now is okay, so I'm gonna unlink this and I'm gonna even delete it. Now I'm gonna save this and we're gonna trigger the automation once for now. So since I have a limit for 5, so I'm just gonna get, an automation running for 5 locations, but you have more, so just change the limit inside the first run actor module. So you wouldn't run it for thousands. So the limit is here, like max crawled places per search, 5. And I'm gonna trigger it just to have the variables appear in the third step. So since I already did it for 1,000 oaks, I'm gonna do it again, but we're triggering the automation from here. So let's say 1,000 oaks and start scraping. Okay, so it's actually me from the future, because probably as I was typing this, you noticed that I'm making no sense because I'm adding 1,000 oaks into 2 different columns. So it should have been like that, 1,000 oaks and then dentist. So that was my mistake. But actually I finished building the whole automation because I was confused why it's giving such strange results. But I'm gonna continue it step by step, so don't worry. So now if we go back, for example, into the automation, so let's assume you entered everything correctly and you pressed start scraping. What would have happened is that these modules would have run like so, the number 1 and number 2, and it would have returned 5 bundles with the details of each location. So for example, if I'm gonna go back to the diagram and I'm gonna click delete the sheet, and now I'm just gonna add it all over again. So add row, and then select the sheet that we need. So it's gonna be make, add it, Google Maps scraper, Google scraper, sheet name, crawler data, because that's where again we want to add our crawl data. So as you can see, I already ran it once. So the search term we're gonna add from the get data sets items. It's gonna be I'm just gonna search it, search string. So search term is gonna be, where is it, search string. Then the location is gonna be location, but not exactly this. Maybe we have a city. Yes, we have city and location. So then we have the address. So let's do the address. Yes, address, website. For emails, let's go here and select emails. For phones, let's go here and select phones. For Twitter, guess what is gonna be? Oh yeah, Twitters. For Instagram, ooh, I wonder what is gonna be. Instagrams. Yeah, I'm being stupid here. And for Facebook, the last one, Facebook's. Bam. Done. So now each time we're gonna trigger our automation, what it's gonna do, it's gonna scrape Google Maps based on our search terms, and then what else? Yeah, and then basically get the details, the contact details, and add everything into the sheet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to the first basically part of the automation. And for me, I'm gonna just pick again to basically scrape the 5 places. So I'll go into here, and there's gonna be, where is it? Oh yeah, max scrolled places per search. So I'm gonna select 5 instead of like 300. For you, if you wanna, scrape as much as possible, select a different value and then click OK and save. But basically, previously for me it was 5. I've just tried to scrape it back again. But now we have all of the automation done. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to Google Sheets, and for one more time I'm gonna try to scrape thousand oaks. I don't know why I picked such a hard name for a city as a non-native English speaker, because I hardly can pronounce it, but it just sounds kind of good, 1,000 oaks. Someone went there and saw like 1,000 oaks and said this place is gonna be 1,000 oaks. Just sounds, like a good story. So we entered, the search term and the city name, and we're gonna trigger our automation by clicking start scraping. We go back to the automation. We go into the first part of the automation, and what we should see is our automation running. Yeah, so it's running, it just doesn't show up on the diagram. Sometimes that happens if you are on the same tab. So yeah, you just need to refresh or go to the history, and you see that your automation has been launched. So maybe we can click on here or in it. No, it still doesn't show up, but we can see that it's running, and it launched our scraper, which is, awesome. We have started scraping. If we, for example, go into the runs on Apify, so actors and then runs, you can see that, for example, finishing scraping, because we reached max scroll places. Awesome. We finished scraping. We can go back. We see the automation finished on here. If we go, let's say, to the second part of the automation, it should have been triggered, or it's actually already have been launched, and then we could go again and we see that another crawler is being started. So it starts another crawler, and we're going to be now, since we got the 5 search results from the Google Maps, now what we're going to be trying to do is go into each website from the returned results of the search results and try to get the contact details by scraping each site individually. So for example, it is saying that it's finishing. Again, this usually can take, a bit longer, and it will take a lot longer. For example, if you're scraping hundreds, 200, thousands places, so it's gonna, take longer. So now what it's saying that what we finished doing is getting the contact details. So if we go back, so the second step is finished. I go back to the I go back to the scenarios, and I click on the third step, and I can see that it finished running successfully as well with 5 scraped places. So again, I go back to the crawl data sheet, and these, like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these last 5 were scraped. So as you can see, I got some of the emails, I got the phone numbers, I got their Instagram, I got their Facebook accounts. So this is good news. And for example, some of the dentists don't have the website. So for example, then it's a bit harder maybe to reach out if that's for what you're going to be using those emails. On the other hand, if you're looking to, let's say, offer website creation services, this is a great opportunity for you, because for example, you scrape it, you see that, for example, you didn't get, an email or a website or whatever, and then what you can do is phone them and say, hey, I'm selling website services, are you interested? Because for example, you can see that 3 of these they don't have websites. So it's pretty cool. And also you might wonder why it's showing like Newbury Park, Actually, Newbury Park, as I saw, is inside Thousand Oaks, so it's still, you know, crawling Thousand Oaks area. It's just an area inside of area, so that's why I chose the location as Newbury Park. But that's the automation. I hope it helped. I hope you were able to follow along if you're interested in working together. So again, I'll put a link down below through where you can reach out to me. So you can send me a message and I'm gonna get back to you as soon as I can. And also, if you're interested in any other automations, let me know in the comments down below, so I can make them for you. So yeah, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.